more seconds, we'll get started in a little bit. All right. We're all muted over there, man?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Lynette, if you can actually show us, it's at 6:32 right now. If we can do a quick roll call, folks that are here.
District 1, Michaela Dwyer.
Here.
District 2, Richard Hughes.
Here.
District 3, David Emery.
I'm here.
District 4, Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
District 5, Charles Kate.
Here.
Mayor Rubin.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Okay, if everybody can please stand and join me for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Now Luke has a little special meaning with that one every time we do it. Now it's a Civil Air Patrol cadet. Is he a cadet?
Yes, sir.
Cadet? Roger that. Appreciate that. Okay, council, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's jump into number 4, the citizens to be heard. This is the opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the city council on any issue. Matt, I already have a list. Issue on any item or agenda in compliance with LGC section 551.007. Sorry, I was trying to.
Just get my steps in, sir.
You're trying to take care of stuff. City council may not discuss any other presented issue, nor take any action to be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. Attorney General opinion JC 0169. So in here on this one, I think we have Mitchell. You have some comments? And citizens to be heard? Do you have any comments or?
How do I do that?
Yeah, this is the opportunity. You wanted to address the council, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you
So
got
do
3
I
minutes.
Come out to the podium.
Okay, I
Yes,
don't
ma'am.
know, I don't do this.
You're good. You're good, and that's what it's all about. Give you an opportunity to pass any information to the council that you'd like to pass. We won't take any action or anything, but just basically anything that you would like to actually mention. So 3 minutes.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. Hello, Lytle community. I'm honored to be standing before you today as the executive director of Petunia's Rescued Friends, a rescue organization that is passionate about animal welfare. Petunia's Rescued Friends is a 501c3 nonprofit no-kill animal rescue operating out of multiple foster homes serving the city of Castroville, Texas, and surrounding cities. All animals are rescued from various circumstances and are in our care until they adopted out to new forever families. We are a donation-based organization. We rely heavily on community support and private donations to help us continue our mission of help us help them. Today I'm here to discuss a topic that is near and dear to our hearts: animal care services, spay and neuter programs, and putting a stop to euthanasia. Our organization believes that education is the key when it comes to promoting responsible pet ownership and reducing the number of unwanted animals. Therefore, we are proud to partner with the community of Lytle to help educate and provide resources to pet owners, shelters, and animal care facilities. Your Director of Animal Care and Control Services, Santiago Morales, does an amazing job of caring and networking for the animals here in your community, but is generous enough to offer advice and lend a hand when we need it. So we absolutely appreciate that. One of the most important aspects of animal care is staying and neutering your pets. It not only prevents overpopulation, but also has health benefits for your furry companions. We believe that everyone should have access to spay and neuter services regardless of their financial situation. As a nonprofit rescue, we have been blessed by Miss Betty Kroger and the Animal Allies spay and neuter program that she offers here, that y'all offer here in Lytle. We could not do what we do or save the lives that we save without this amazing partnership. So thank you. In addition, we strongly advocate for putting a stop to euthanasia as a solution to the pet overpopulation. We all know this is a huge problem in Texas, not just Lytle. Instead, we believe in finding homes for these animals through adoption and transport programs. We are thrilled to partner with Lytle Animal Care and Control and other rescue organizations such as Castroville City Shelter, which has undergone major transformation in the way they look at animal welfare and those who hold the position of animal control officer. They have a brand new animal control officer by the name of Joshua Davidson, and he's amazing, and you're going to be hearing his name a lot in partnerships here, I would imagine. And of course, we partner with my amazing mentors at Price's Pet Rescue in Southern California. Together, in the past couple of months, we have made 2 transports that saved the lives of 29 dogs from the communities of Lytle, Castroville, and Petunia's Rescue Friends, our rescue.
Do you have a minute left? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Do you have a minute left?
Okay, thank you. And of course, that's gonna throw me. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding. We've had, you did it, didn't you? Castroville, California. If we had regular access to a transport vehicle, we could clear our rescue and shelters on a monthly basis in our partnership with Price's Pet Rescue. Just a little bug in your ear. I'm gonna be bugging you more about the transport vehicle. We understand that change takes time, but we do believe that by working together and promoting education, we can make a difference in the lives of the animals. If community members do not know there is a need, they do not know there is a need. So let's come together as a community, make responsible choices for our pets, and provide them with the care and love they deserve. In other words, let's come together and help us help them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. I just want to add, they were actually out. They had a spay and neuter event this past weekend, and Ms. Mitchell and a few folks were actually out there helping out, making sure that we took care of this opportunity and foundation. I'll talk about it at the very end with the information. So thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate that. All right, anybody else that would like to go ahead and pass some information? All right. Thank you once again, ma'am. Let's go ahead and move on to item number 5, consent agenda. Consider approval of minutes. First one that we have is May the 8th, 2023. So council, if you guys could please review that.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes from the meeting of May the 8th, 2023.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor for us to accept the minutes as written. Second?
A second.
Okay. Got a second? Okay. I'll open it up for discussion. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, thank you so much, appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to May the 22nd, 2023.
Again, I make a motion that we approve the minutes for May the 22nd, 2023 as written.
Okay, got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and approve the minutes as written for the 22nd May. All right, have a second? Thank you, appreciate it, sir. Open for discussion. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you so much, appreciate that. Let's go ahead and move on to B, consider approval of payment of the bills. You should have a sheet in front of you, and take a look at that.
And that's Escalon County, Brightfield, that's just quarterly payment.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Good, I'll say quarterly.
Mayor, I want to make a motion to accept the payment of bills that's presented.
Okay, got a motion for us to go ahead and approve the payment of bills.
Second, that.
Got a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our open session. Item number 6, take action on items discussed. First one we have is A, consider an act task order number 23-07 in the amount of $2,644 with TRC Engineers for the engineering services related to floodplain permit review of CPS Energy Bend City Road utility pole replacement.
So council, this is CPS Energy. They need to replace some telephone poles, and they're increasing the size of a couple. And some of these lie within the floodplain. So in order for us to permit those and the work to go, it has to be reviewed by ordinance by the floodplain administrator, and then we gave that to TRC, the engineers. So this is their estimate to not to exceed that. I have notified CPS Energy of this. They kind of balked on it and said they've never had to pay this with any other city before. Something in their franchise, I don't really know, but in order for us to permit this, they're going to a larger style pole. And this is all in relation to the new subdivisions and getting the larger lines from the distribution facility over there off Old Trail City Road across 35. So I kind of emailed Jesse briefly on it. So at this point, we'll just present this back to CPS Energy to move forward. And if their legal finds something wrong, we'll just address it there. But they said something maybe in our franchise agreement, which I don't know where it is, but.
Yeah, typically, Mayor, Council, this is a utility upgrade related to a subdivision development. Typically, the developer will pay for the utility-related improvements. So it'll probably most likely end up as a pass-through cost to the developer, but we'll probably have to work it through CPS and the developer to resolve the cost. But this would allow the process to proceed and get resolved in time to allow for the development.
So that's what we're asking for, so an approval of that.
Is there a chance we'll be on hook for this if both of them refuse to pay?
Possibly, but not very likely because it's it would probably be a reimbursable cost related to the development. And probably at a minimum replaceable, reimbursable under the utility related expenses associated with the project. So either through the utility related or through CPS or through the city's own fee structure, probably.
Well, Mayor, I move that we approve task order 2307, the amount not to exceed 2644. TRC Engineers for engineering services related to the floodplain permit review of CPS Energy Bend City Road.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
We'll second
Okay, got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
it.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you so much, appreciate that. We'll get it moving, we'll take care of that. Okay, B, discuss and consider and act upon revisions to the 2023 street pavement project to reflect updated project costs.
So Council, I'm gonna ask Scott to come up as well in case there's questions. So as you know, under the 2022 series of certificates of obligation, we had $594,925 left for street paving. We bid out all the streets that were asked, and the bid came in, the low bid was to,
It was Asphalt Inc., also operating as a local start vehicle.
and their total cost came out to how much?
$649,410.
So you can see we're slightly over what we have budgeted in there. So what I sent to you was a breakdown that came from TRC. I'll let him explain.
Sure.
And then we've got some options that we thought of to reduce the amount of streets we pay to bring us back in line.
On the screen back there, we basically tabulated all of the streets that were given to us to look at for the project. We have the street length there, the street width, we calculated the area, both square feet and square yards. We took the unit cost provided to us in the bids from Lone Star Inc. for that bid item, the street paving. They got a total cost for repaving for those specific streets. Got a total cost there at the bottom there of $542,934 part of what the total cost would be based on their unit cost. On the screen to the right, we were given a few streets to look at removing from the project, kind of help reduce the project cost. Option 1, 2, and 3 were provided to us originally. Let's see, I should be my sheet here. There we go. The option 1 was removal of Railroad Street between South Prairie Street and Wood Penn Street. That's approximately 350 feet in length, and the unit, the width we got.
If I can touch on that one real quick, Council, the reason we've asked to remove that one on Railroad Street, as we put in the new 12-inch loop that comes through, that section of the road, we have to jog our 12-inch line back out into the roadway due to a concrete slab that's in the easement or right-of-way that we cannot avoid. So no reason to repave that now, just to get up a few months down the road. So that's why we took that block out of it. We'll rebid it in the next year's budget or something.
So we got a total cost potential reduction for that section along Railroad Street there for option 1. Option 2, similarly, was Blue Street. Option 3 was Gray Street. And the total potential deduct for those 3 streets was only $45,990, which would have reduced the contract based on the low bid to $603,420, which is still slightly more than what the allotted budget was. And going back to the main table there, looking at something that is close to the $594,000 budget would be the removal of San Juan Street, which is about $9,000. And so if we remove that, as option 4, the total, the contract will be about $594,380, which is a drop in the bucket for the budget. So that's right there, would be the closest to get you to the projected budget. If we remove more, you can have some more savings down there as well.
So we're talking about the adjustment of Railroad, and then the removal of Newton, Gray, and San Juan. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that'll get us in where we need to be.
Yes, sir.
Where is that?
Coal mine. We have 2 streets in coal mine, San Jose and San Juan, both were in coal mine. So we would still do a street in the subdivision, we just wouldn't do both of them agreements.
Okay, council?
I have a question. No matter which way you put it, you're gonna go against somebody that wants their street paved. But my question was on Adams Street. Adams Street is the one that runs in front of the park.
Yes, sir.
So when we're talking about from McDonald Street northbound, we're talking about the section where it crosses McDonald Street and goes.
Goes to the north and dead ends, yes, sir.
Okay, how much traffic do we have on that portion?
The residents that live there,
I know, that's why I said you're gonna insult somebody.
I think that's the problem. We don't have a whole lot of streets that have a whole lot of traffic. These aren't, a lot of them aren't main thoroughfares. So we're looking to council on how we want to move it. I think if we did that one, if we took that one out, what was that on there? Adams Street, that
It was
was
35.
$35,000. I mean,
So-
we're looking at council on how y'all want to move forward.
So over there in Colma, you have the San Jose, San Juan. Those, are those heavy traffic streets?
They're not heavy traffic streets either, just for the subdivision, but they actually have pavement on them now. Whereas Adams Street, it's deteriorating quite a bit on the sides of the road. That's why we didn't really remove. My thought process, we could rehab that street and get it back to a usable street. Whereas if we remove some of these other ones, the roads were still there. They were in okay shape. That I think we could get a little more life out of them. It would be my opinion. Whereas
Until the
Adams
next
Street.
go around.
Yeah. Whereas Adams Street was we've already lost some of the asphalt going away in that.
And the cost, a little bit more of the cost with Adams Streets from the dead end to Pine Street is because they actually, when they laid it over last time, some of the covers were actually,
Yeah, so we do the pavement this time. In years past, when they came in and paved, they would just pave the road. They would lay right over top all of our manholes, water fountain, everything. This contract, we are going to raise those and get them back to the street. We are not going to cover anything up. This is going to be exactly how it should be done.
The biggest problem I see are the edge of the streets. To me, they don't appear to be formal. We have no formal, we don't have curbs, basically, what I'm saying. There's no, the way I see the roads currently laid out, there's nothing to stop it from eroding on the sides. Is anything possible that could be done to help remedy that?
Laying curbs, I guess. That's about the only way that I can think
There's
of.
nothing else?
Scott, is this one, the roads actually as an angle? I know we talked about trying to do an angle versus just straight up and down, which was happening before. So are these actually tapered, when they lay it down at an angle?
The streets are.
The streets.
The street. So when they come through and paved on the edge of the road, it's not going to be a 6-inch lip or 2-inch lip, right? It's going to be feathered out to the side like we talked about.
There you go.
They will be, and that should help,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, that's a problem that we were having.
Yeah, I
Valid
saw
point.
that, yeah.
Yeah, valid point. I mean, that was the thing before, we would just lay it out and then, in one particular project, we had to go back and ask Public Works to go ahead and put additional because people were connecting to the driveway and they had the big bump just to be able to get from their driveway into the road. So, I know that's one of the things that we discussed previously, being able to do the feather or the taper, on the road.
And that's what we did with last year's paving. It seemed to help those quite a bit. So when the cars are leaving the roadway to get off on the side, it's not a sharp drop or breaking away.
One last question, there's no CDs or anything you can take advantage of?
I'm sure there is. We could pull money out of one. We'd have to find one that's not 100% earmarked.
Well, with the adjustments that you have, we're still above?
No, it'd bring us in line
And
where we
we're
need to
okay.
be. And then we could push these ones we're taking off, we could look at for next year's options.
So maybe next year we can look at what CD we have available.
Yeah, we already know if part of our audit, we gotta do some spin down of those CDs anyways. Now, we've got a lot of projects we could obviously use that money for, but
And I know you're finding CDs left and right and
I got a question,
identifying them.
How many linear feet is it from McDonald Street, on Railroad to the city limits?
on Railroad from McDonald's to the city
Yeah,
limits.
on Railroad Street from McDonald to the northern city limits.
I don't know,
What's the- what's the
measure it.
area on that?
I can measure it.
7,900, I think.
Yeah, you can pull it up in Google Maps and get a rough estimate, but I'm looking at that figure for Railroad Street, and we're spending 40% of the money for streets on Railroad Street.
And that's correct, Charles, but that's one of the roads that we need to build out and have it ready as we have a lot more folks that are gonna be using that road. And the condition of that road is pretty bad already as it is. So it does need to be repaired. So we need to take care of that road.
Oh, I disagree simply because it's gonna turn that road into a drag strip. People are gonna come blowing into town 70 miles an hour down Railroad Street if it's nice.
The road needs attention. It's a road that is being utilized by our citizens. And, you can say that for any street that we're gonna pave. People are gonna drive a little bit faster. But,
What's the traffic count on Railroad Street?
Honestly, Charles, I mean, you brought that up previously, and that was something that was addressed before. Based on the numbers that are provided, our old numbers that are available in there, based on the text dot or any of the other ones that we have, I think we would probably need to go back and take a look at them. I can tell you, from the time that we've been having a lot of the construction, we've been having a lot of people moving in, we've had a lot more people that are using, and the complaints for Railroad Street have actually risen a lot more to go ahead and take care of that. That's the reason why
I
it's
mean,
on this.
I hear what you're saying, but I'm curious as to the numbers backing it up. We've done a speed sign count out there at all.
I don't know if we've had it
What
specifically
I
out
saw
there.
on text dot is that there's less than 800 cars per day, last numbers they ran. I mean, that's a fraction of other areas of the city.
I think it's 4,400 linear feet, it looks like.
Yeah. So over 3/4 of a mile, right?
Yeah, whatever that comes out to is.
That is one street that, once again, we get a lot of input from our city, asking for assistance because a lot more folks are actually using it. And as we're growing, we need to be able to provide different ways.
I understand that. I mean, the reason that people are using that street is so they can circumvent the traffic lights, so they can speed and break the law. So, I mean, if we're gonna post police officers get out there and issue more citations, that's fine. But I'm looking at it from a public safety standpoint. I mean, how many people actually live out there on Railroad Street? There's a dozen homes probably.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much that
Michael, you live out there. How many homes actually live, residents live out there?
yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that portion, because when you get to the county section, it's very well maintained, but when you get to the city part, it doesn't reflect on the city of Lidle very well. And then two, you gotta think that the numbers could be skewed on the fact that people just don't wanna drive that road. I mean, it is in bad shape, and I feel for the residents that do currently live back there. But I believe that if we were to improve the road conditions back there, the numbers would increase, only for the simple fact that it would be easier for, people to drive across.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why we live in a democracy. We can disagree on these things, right?
So the section that was taken out because of the pipe that's gonna be laid in the future, that's behind the businesses?
That's behind the propane shop. If you
Yeah.
want to look at, it's that block right there.
And up to what point, or McDonald Street does it start? It's a little bit further back, is it, where the landscaping is that gonna be improved as well?
Yeah, all of Railroad Street, from the north city limits in Bear County, all the way to the state road.
Yeah.
The only block we won't have is the one we talked about taking out because of the water main.
Also that little.
Everything, that section will not be, so you will have, let's say you wanna drive down, if we do it, a brand new road, and then you have a block that's not new, then you get back on new again. But I can't see tearing up a brand new road for water line right now.
No, that's a valid point.
And I think we have some concerns from the business owner already with water runoff right there, maybe into his business, so we need to look at it a little further with the engineers.
Once we look at that.
Now, we are gonna delay the one in Coleman for another year.
Yeah, so what we'll do is whatever we don't do this year, we'll put on the list for next year and then ask for additional road names and then see how much we can budget.
Now, can we do this, I mean, I know with it's asphalt in it, right? So I know you'll have a bundle of it left over. Now, can you maybe repair some of the stuff that may be kind of bad there in coal mine? At least get something just to help them out a little bit?
Well,
We're gonna pave a road in Coal Mine.
No, but the one that we're delaying for another year.
We could look at pothole fix under the current budget with Public Works. They're gonna look at getting some stuff. But this project, if this contractor bids it right, there won't be any excess materials. They'll buy just enough to do the job.
Usually there is.
we can ask, we can actually.
Yeah, if there's any
ask.
extra, we can drop it. I know a contractor that did a road cut in the city had some extra materials and gave it to us, and we used it right away to pack some.
I'm just saying, I mean, because, at least give those people a little bit of mind, setting up. At least they're gonna try it, they're gonna finish it off next year, and at least gonna help. I mean, I really haven't been in that road yet.
Yeah.
To really see if there's a big hole or anything, but I'm just saying that,
Yes,
it can be repaired.
Yeah, I can tell you, I don't believe we've had any complaints coming in for pothole repairs in Coal Mine. These are just 2 streets the previous councilman put on there. So we're trying to, we didn't get everything from them, so we took one from there, one from here, one from there kind of thing.
Council, can I get a motion? Let's go ahead.
And can we award, Jesse, and award, can we award the contract as well for them? Okay, so I'll do that at the next meeting.
The motion doesn't need to include the acceptance of options 1, 2, and 3.
And,
Um,
and San Juan Street.
Yes, the motion
Oh,
would be
San Juan wasn't on the.
the options to modify the plan to reflect those changes. Council approval and then you
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mayor, I want to make a motion to accept the revisions to the 2023 street pavement projects to include options 1, 2, and 3, and San Juan Street to reflect the updated project costs.
And just for clarification, option 1 is the adjustment that was mentioned in Railroad Street for that one block. Removal of Newton Street and Gray Street, just for clarification.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Got a motion on the floor? Okay, got a second? Okay, open it up one more time for discussion. Okay,
David, will you second?
all those in favor?
10 days.
Charles, are you by yourself or you have somebody there with you?
I'm by myself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have, go ahead and make a note that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 yays and 1 nay on that. Okay. I appreciate it, council. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and take a look at C. Consider and act upon entering a memorandum of understanding with the Edwards Hospital Authority for permission to install a device for continuous monitoring at City Well Number 1. Matt?
So council, the Edwards reached out to James. Well number 1 is the one that sits at the police department that hasn't been in service for a long time from what I've gathered. They would like to install monitoring equipment on it. It's kind of one of the fairly low southern wells in our region, and they would love to have the data of what the well's doing there. In doing so, though, we would need to remove the well head and the motor that's down in the bottom. I do not have a cost on that. James is supposed to be working on that, and he's not here tonight. He's on a main repair. Once that is done, the Edwards will then send a camera down and inspect the casing. If the casing is in good condition, they'll install all the equipment, no big deal at their cost, and we're good to go. We actually get access to see the real numbers, I guess, as they come in. If the casing is not in good repair, we're gonna have to either fix the casing or seal the well. It's currently, right now, the well is not in use by the city, so we have to do something with it. And we're kind of in a catch-22. We can either say, no, we don't want to do this, we're just gonna seal the well and be done. Or we can say, yes, we want to do this, and we'll pull those two things out, hope that the casing's good, and if it's good, we're done. And the well goes back online, in service for their records, and we touch it again. So we're kind of in a catch-22. I think we need to approve it. I gotta figure out the numbers on where the money comes from on removing those other two items, the well head and the motor out of the bottom. And then we just cross our fingers and hope for the best with the casing.
If you've been to the police department, it's actually right next to where we park our cars. It's just kind of a big thing about standing up that.
I think I sent you a copy of the paper. It wouldn't hurt anything if we did this, right? Just some more equipment they put up, no big deal, won't interfere with the police.
They said they use solar, right? Or-
Yeah, that's solar and everything.
Solar, so in other words, with power and stuff, it's gonna be on, and it's just a probe that goes down
Yeah,
there.
it wouldn't affect us.
And just for reference, have an idea, Richie, of when we actually took it offline? It's been a long time.
No,
It hasn't worked the 20 years I've been here, right?
yeah, it's been probably 25, it's been 30 years probably.
I would cross our fingers on the case.
Is this one of the sulfurs?
No,
No,
this
this
is a different one. The one in Sulphur is over by the animal control facility.
It's a long time, 30 years.
Is there an associated cost to abandoning the well?
We have to plug it.
If we turn the well over, does the city of Lido get any benefit from that?
We get to see the data, which we get on their website anyways. But no matter what we do, if we say we don't want to do this, It's an abandoned well, we need to seal it. We need to fix it and take it offline.
So the biggest concern is gonna be if the equipment in there, the motorhead and so forth, is not in good condition, it would be an added cost,
The casing,
The casing,
just the casing,
just in case.
that's it. Because
Once
they
we
need to
get
get
the
the
well.
broke down. So as long as it didn't collapse, we'd have damage, is that correct, Nick?
yes, as long as there's not damage to it, then we'll be okay. They can put if there is damage, we'll have to address it.
So I don't see where we can make a decision right now. I would like to see the information on what the cost is gonna be.
I can work all that up. I don't know the cost, James was supposed to be working on that, I'll get that on here. On the cost to remove the wellhead and the motor. I didn't get a chance to talk to him about that today due to the repair, but the cost to seal the well up and take it offline it's supposed to be, I can't imagine, those are probably gonna be fairly expensive, because we gotta dump a bunch of rock down there and then cement at the top, and stuff like that. But I don't think we go that route just yet. Let's go this route if we want to. And if they put a camera down it and the casing's wet, it's in good shape, and they say it's usable, the well goes back online, we don't have to seal it, we don't have to spend any more money other than those, removing those two items.
We're gonna need to spend money to put a.
No matter what we do, we have to spend money.
But
whether we
by
budget for it.
approving this motion, then we are gonna be responsible for working with Edwards
By not approving this,
So by
tonight,
approving it.
by approving it, yes, we're gonna work with the Edwards.
Right.
By not approving it, we need to take the system offline and budget for it.
Are we under a time
Okay,
constraint?
quick question on this though. Who approached us? Did Edwards approach, who approached you? Edwards approached us?
James told me that Edwards called him on it, and that's who then reached out to me.
So, I mean, they're trying to use our well for monitoring, right? Why are they not paying for all of this if they want to use it for monitoring? Why are we paying
Well,
anything?
give you a little input. We were told when we built the police station that Edwards, of course, they have authority over all this water stuff, as you know, but we were told that they came and checked the well, how often?
I don't know, it was fairly regular.
Fairly regular, but we never ever saw anybody there in the last 10 or 12 years, until about a year ago.
Yeah.
An Edwards truck pulls up, a couple people are out there fiddling around. So that's the only time we've ever seen them. But I remember, when we built the PD, that was the talk, that, at some point in time, you can't just let the well sit there. So it has to be either on or off, it can't just.
Either has to be online, using pumping water, or tapping the well.
Are we under time constraint to make this decision?
I don't think we have to make it now, but if we can maybe kick the can down the road a couple weeks and get some, hopefully we get some real numbers in. But if we don't, at some point, the Edwards is gonna say, okay, you have an abandoned well, either put it online or take it offline, and you got
We're gonna
30
do it.
days, 2 weeks, I don't know what their timeline is.
Since James is working on the numbers, I would love to see us table this at least till the next meeting, so we can come up with some numbers. So I would make that motion that we table this item until we get numbers for removing
For removing the wellhead and the motor, and then I'll get
Wellhead and
another
motor.
one if we have to cap it.
before we make any decisions, so.
Yeah, Mayor, I want to second that motion.
And Mayor, if I can add that,
Yes.
I would also suggest that, as Mr. King commented, to also approach Edwards to see if they will pay for the cost of removing the wellhead
Very good.
and motor as well.
You want to amend your motion?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to amend my motion, everything I previously said, plus I request or direct our city administrator to approach Edwards Aquifer to see if they can help with the cost of this project.
You want to amend?
Yes,
Okay, second amendment.
ask nicely.
I will.
Based on what you said.
I will try, sir, I promise you. I will tell them if we can't afford it, how can they help us? But he said the city will have to remove those.
Yeah, that's
I
what
will
I
ask.
don't want to
You
do.
don't ask, you don't get.
Always know if you don't
You
have.
can always ask them, bring the big truck when they come, right? I'll take care of that. Okay, so I got a motion, got a second, any further discussion? Okay, all
Yeah,
those,
what was the motion? I couldn't hear. It was
The motion
breaking
is,
up over here.
it'd be to table, and then for me to go back and get the probable cost to do all this and see if the Edwards is willing to help out with any of those costs.
Thank you.
any other further discussion? All those in favor,
I,
Aye.
any opposed? All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and do D. Since we have TRC on here, is update on water system infrastructure improvements, opinion of probable cost from city engineer. So, Charles, you put that on the agenda. Did you have some quick comments before Scott gets up here and gives us an update?
No, sir, that's not my realm of expertise. I'm just curious as to what these infrastructure projects are gonna cost us.
So generally, there is no real update as of now. The costs that we presented, that were updated back in 2022, are mostly in line with the costs that we're seeing today. Surely, inflation impacted the entirety of the American economy, and the construction industry was not spared by that at all. Thankfully, though, I know the costs have risen over the past couple of years, but we're starting to see a decline in material costs that are tending back to the historical numbers that we're seeing before inflation started rising. An example, we estimated that the 250,000 gallon tank would cost about $1,872,500. Recently, back in April, we got a cost from a vendor for a three-legged steel tank that was $1,800,000. What was it? Let me see there. I'm sorry. It was $1,875,000. So within 1% of the cost that we anticipated. And we believe that the cost of the other projects will be in line with that as well within the percentage point or two. So right now, we don't have any reason to believe that if there's any increase in costs, they'll be restrictive for the city to move forward with any of the projects we identified in our CIP program.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to E, consider and act upon appointing members to fill vacancies on the City Ethics Commission.
Mayor, I have a name.
Okay.
And I'll pass it over to Lynette, so she can have it. Mr. William Northern, who lives at 19419 Bloom Lane. I had a discussion with him, and he is wanting to get more involved in the city, and he said he'd like to do that. So, Mr. William Northern.
Okay.
And if you would pass it along.
Okay, got one. Council, do you have any names?
Yes, I also have a member that wanted to be on the ethics committee.
Okay.
I have the name and information right here.
Can you say the person's name?
Robert Pettis.
Okay. Robert Pettis. Thank you. All right. Make sure you get it. And did you already turn the name in?
No, not yet, for the, commission,
For the Ethics Commission.
Michael Aguilar.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, council. Appreciate that. I think, Matt, I think that takes care
Okay,
of
that was it, yes, sir. Yes,
Just
sir.
remember to supply with simple numbers and stuff, so call it the shop minutes.
that's their treasurer.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I have.
Is that,
Michael's for the zoning.
Mike's for the city, zoning commission.
okay, that's,
No,
so,
take Michael off.
take them off.
I'm sorry
Take 'em
about
off.
It's okay.
Okay. Do you have somebody for the ethics then?
No.
You don't? Okay. So we're gonna need to,
We need to find one more.
Yeah.
So if you could, can you just give us a name and email? Or do you have to be a council?
We'll have to do the council action. But you can move on the current.
On those two, yeah.
The additional two.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
so council, if we can go ahead, we can have a motion for us to go ahead and get William Northern and Robert Pettis. I can get a motion on that?
I make the motion that we do accept William Northern and Mr. Pettis for the ethics commission.
Got a motion on the floor?
I'll second this.
Got a second? Okay. Any further discussion?
Who are the nominees? I can't hear David at all.
Can you go ahead and repeat?
I nominated William Northern.
I nominated Robert Pettis.
I heard that, yeah. William Northern,
Robert Pettis?
Robert Pettis,
Yes.
Robert Pettis.
Yes, sir. Robert Pettis.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much, appreciate that. And we'll get the name, we can take care of it for the next meeting. That'll be great. All right, let's go ahead and move on to F. Is consider an act upon authorizing the city administrator to renew certificates of deposit, gas fund, accounting number ending in 2469 at Lytle State Bank with funds totaling $250,000.
So council, it's just time to either renew or liquidate. I've talked to Lynette in finance and she recommends that we renew the CD at this time.
Mayor, I want to make a motion for the city administrator to renew the certificate of deposit gas fund account ending in 2469 at Lytle State Bank with funds totaling $250,000.
Appreciate that.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Got a second? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much, appreciate that. Okay, doing good, let's keep taking care of business. G, discuss and consider an act upon continued development of city-owned real property located near intersection of FM 2790 and County Road 6710. This is one that was put down by Charles. And Charles, before I turn it over to you, just for clarification, this is the same property that you were requesting the VFW to move their memorial park to, is that correct?
Well, I mean, for clarification, that's not the VFW park, that's the city of Lytle park.
Or the city of Lytle, but it was
The city of
basically
Lytle park.
asking,
So, I mean, as far as the location of the real property, it's the same location out there, the north side of town.
okay, and then the second question I have for you, since this property is inside a district of Mr. David Emery, have you had a discussion about what you're recommending on him?
I've not talked to David Emery about this property. This is a matter for the entire council to talk about, and that's why we're having these meetings.
That's correct, sir, but at the same time, as a respect, it would probably be good to talk to the councilman that this property is within. But I'll turn it over to you. Go ahead and.
Yeah, I mean, according to our comprehensive plan, this land is designated to be a park. And for whatever reason, previous councils have failed to do anything. As the city grows, we're gonna need more park space. We're already behind what we need, so there's plans down there somewhere at City Hall. If, there's trouble locating them, I would reach out to either, Josie Compa or, Steve Barco, who chaired that committee, because, we already spent a bunch of money drafting up something nice. So, the comprehensive plan, the recommendation was that we proceed with phase one of, developing that property. Why we would not turn it into a park is beyond me. I know that whenever I was employed last year, that y'all went into a closed session to discuss the sale of this property. Apparently you didn't sell it, but I would like to inform the council, if they were not aware, that we can't sell parkland without an election.
So I will, and is that all you have, Charles, before I start?
No, I mean, I have plenty on this. I mean, I wish I was able to be there tonight there. But the fact remains is that that land is going to be a park and we need to do something with it other than just leasing it out to grow hay on.
Can I ask, what is phase one of the plan?
Talk about
I can't hear anybody on the other side of the room.
What is phase one of the plan that's in place?
Charles, the question is, do you have more information from the other committees or that talked about phase one and what it entails?
There should be plans down there in City Hall that were drafted probably about 10, 12 years ago.
But you weren't able to find them, right?
I do not have them with me, but I will track it down if that's what you need to do. But I know that they had a whole workshop. They had a public hearing on this. They had newspaper articles. You know, I don't know how much money we spent. We had an architectural firm draw stuff up to develop the whole 25 acres out there.
But actually,
Council, I can tell you on this, I remember some of this, they talked about it, and the reason there had never been action taken on it is the sheer cost it would cost the city to do it. We can't get, we'd have to do a lift station, because we can't get sewer out there, so we can't, what we're wanting to do be too large for septic, and it's just the sheer volume of cost associated with it. Chief can probably.
Lenny, I was pretty involved in this. It actually is not a park. It actually was gonna be a sports complex. So they're really two different things probably. It was actually designed as a sports complex with a big thing in the center with a bunch of fields. So if you're looking for something in the records, it's actually everything referred to as a sports complex.
And I remember that, because I know the previous mayor had asked me to look into that. And I even brought somebody in here, and that location was identified as not being the most appropriate place because it's away from the commercial and the retail for the sports complex. The park, that one I've never seen, I never heard. I went through ordinances, I couldn't see any of that. We did pull the deeds, and Jesse, on the deeds, when that property was sold, and this is back in the 90s, the owners had mentioned that if we did do something, what was it designated for?
There's the deed for the property includes a restrictive covenant on the use of the property for residential development at the moment. The city could release those deed restrictions, but it should require filing. But that's the only current deed restriction on the property right now. It also includes other restrictions like prohibiting relocating manufactured homes and other types of other use restrictions. Again, that those are deed restrictions that the seller placed on the property, and the city has the ability to release some of them that require filing. Not very complicated, but that's the only thing I could find so far.
So legally, that's what we've been able to find in paperwork or documentation, that it was designated, purchased, and it was for real property on there. Like Jesse said, we do have an option to go ahead and do that. And I think depending on what comes forward, that we might actually take a look at that as an opportunity. But I think that's something that we kind of leave open right now.
And I think Chief was just telling, brings up a good point too. I mean, if we were looking at that for nothing but parkland, we've already kind of strayed from that because we built our animal control facility out there as well.
So,
I mean, that's not true at all, because the plans that I saw include the animal control facility already on there. I mean, you brought up the cost. I mean, everything's gonna cost money to do something. And we're looking, to make improvements for the city of Lila, right? Who has an objection to a park going in the city?
I don't think anybody objects to the park. It's just, I mean, you bring up the need for all this infrastructure that we need and the extravagant cost on that. When I look at things, infrastructure to me is more important than a park when we have a current park now that we could use upgrades in. We have everybody asking about lights in our current park and stuff like that. We haven't upgraded it, but I can't see it building a whole new sports complex.
Thanks to the poor planning here, the reduction of lot sizes, that's why we're having 1,800 homes coming in. I mean, you're gonna need more parkland. You're gonna need more infrastructure. You're gonna need all things when you run the city, you know?
Yes, sir. I agree with you.
I would hope you could recognize the importance of that.
I do, sir. I do. But,
Okay,
if we can't get water and sewer to the town, having parks that do us a lot of good.
Parkland, that's a big thing right there. So, you're gonna say money. You know what the thing is, you're gonna wait another 30 years, it's just gonna be an empty field. You could have been working on it phase by phase.
Charles, even when we got the certificates of obligation, we were talking about needing another 20 million just to be able to maintain what we need for water. So, I mean, I know.
I can't really hear you for that.
So when we got the certificates of obligation, a year ago, you kind of chastised me a little bit about trying to get 20 more million in here because we need water and we need to supply to these houses and stuff. So we know that we have this coming up, and we know we've got a huge sewer cost coming up, and as well as as a ton of other infrastructure coming in, and I'm totally for going out for more money to try to get for this park, but I can't see doing it when I'm trying to get clean water to the new houses.
I mean, you're talking about like a lump sum. I'm not saying, hey, this thing's gonna cost $10 million, let's come up with $10 million. Let's do what we can piecemeal and chip away at it.
But even when
When was the best time to plant a tree?
And I can see doing that maybe on a 10 or 15-year plan, but right
Well,
now,
I mean, it's not a rhetorical question. When was the best time to plant a tree?
I understand what you're saying, but when I'm looking at money right now, and I'm looking at a 5 and 10-year plan, we've got to come up with money without killing our residents because of increases in taxes or taking out more bonds.
So here's where we're at. Charles, why don't you go ahead and if you have a motion that you want to present to council, this is the time for you to go ahead and do that. If you want to place something in front of
Yeah,
council.
let's table this item until I can, be at the next meeting first. How about that? And I'll give a proposal for you so you can, generate revenue from this land without selling it off to the lowest bidder.
Okay,
So I move that we table this item until the next meeting in June.
okay, I have a motion for us to table this item till the next meeting. I have one motion.
I'll second.
Okay, got a second? Okay, any further discussion?
Yes, Mayor, a previous comment made by the Alderman from District 5 about generating money from this property by moving forward with park initiatives. Where's generating money come into this?
Charles?
I can't hear what David's saying. He's got a bad mic or something.
I said there was a mention of developing a park so we can generate income for the city. I believe that's what I heard, and I'm just wondering how we're going to generate income by turning this property into a park.
Well, whenever I get there, in 2 weeks, we can discuss about that some more, David. The motion was to table it in 2 weeks.
This is the time for discussion. I'm trying to discuss it.
I mean, okay, so you want the full plan now, or are we gonna discuss it in 2 weeks?
I would just like a little bit of information about the comment for generating income.
That we can do, right, with far as mixed use of development, including the park.
Understood.
That's the short version. That is the short version of, my, presentation in 2 weeks.
Okay, so we got a motion, got a second for us to table. All those in favor for us to table it?
Aye.
Aye.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and move it forward to the next meeting. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. H, discuss and consider and act upon formatting agendas for city meetings to include the addition of the authors, requesters of the city business for council committees to be considered or to be discussed. Charles, you brought this forward?
Charles, you're muted.
Yes, sir. I move that we include the authors and or requesters on all agenda items moving forward.
Okay, and the purpose for that?
I mean, it's just a matter of transparency, for one thing, and it's a common practice for cities and organizations to include who's bringing items before councils, committee, et cetera.
Charles, the reason that it's put on the agendas is not who's bringing it forward, it's for the presiding officer to use that as a guide when they're using the agenda. So, and we went through this before, and that's the reason it's not on there.
Formatting matter.
and that's the reason that it's not there. I'm the presiding officer, I don't feel, David, you're the mayor pro temp, so if we need to go ahead and run an agenda, do you have the necessary to have the names on there?
I don't, as I see, Matt usually gives us the information we need. And for example, on this item, we have the name of the person who presented the item. So, actually, I'm surprised that it's even brought before council as an agenda item. It's more of an administrative item that can be taken up with the city administrator.
So, I mean, honestly, we went through this before. It's about bringing our council together. I don't think we need to have hash marks on how many agenda items somebody has put together. I think that we do a really good job of introducing it, just like it was mentioned with either Matt's notes or us. I mean, this is recorded. Every time that we bring up an agenda, we mention who's the one on there, so I think that that's appropriate. And once again, the reason that the agenda exists is for the presiding officer to use that as a guide. And I don't require for us to have the names on there.
Mayor, in the past,
I mean, the motion stands. I mean, either honor the motion and put it up for a vote and let it die. It's all about parliamentary procedure. And I mean, you interjecting your opinion on everything as the chair, that goes in violation of parliamentary procedure right there. We're
Mayor,
talking about what previous action was taken. What did we say previously? What were we gonna do?
We removed it. We haven't been using it.
No.
So I will just take your action. I'll just take your action.
Do
Do you have a motion? I'll go ahead and put it out there. So we have a motion for us to actually include the name of the person who submitted the agenda item on the agenda. I have a motion on the floor. Council,
I'll second.
I have a second. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All those against it?
Nay.
We'll go ahead and start putting the names on there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to I, consider and act upon setting a date for a council workshop on proposed tax abatement program.
So council, I've got something drafted that I think we're ready to start looking at as a group. So I'm asking for a workshop setting so we can discuss it kind of freely and we don't take up action on the council for this. So I'm just looking for some prospective dates there. I've got a lot of dates this month and some next month that I'm already out for some stuff, but if y'all got some ideas, I can look at my calendar as well. Mondays and Tuesdays are pretty open for me the rest of this month and next as well.
Mondays and Tuesdays are good for me.
what's the time frame?
It would be just a 6:30 on a,
I mean, the next week or two?
oh, just whenever y'all want. It's ready, I've got it drafted, I'm ready to forward it out once we know the date and give everybody a chance to look at it, mark it up, and then we can come back together as a group to discuss it. This is, I believe, what the council wanted to do before we sent it off to legal.
Yeah, I got vacation Bible all next week from 5 to 7, unless we push it back on one of those nights or we did it earlier. But I should be back in Lytle by Friday, and then the rest of the summer I'll be around. So whatever dates work for people, I can slide away. But next week I got BDS.
How about Tuesday the 27th?
That works for me.
It's the night after the city council meeting. Jams us up in the week. But we'd like to get it taken care of, so, Mayor, I move that we, schedule this workshop for tax abatement on, June the 27th at 6:30 in these chambers.
Okay. We have a motion for us to go ahead and have it on the 27th.
I'll second.
At 6:30? Okay. Appreciate that. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to J. Is consider and act upon formatting of, formatting or forming the annual Daniel J. McGrath DVM Citizen Award Committee and designate chairman.
So council, as you know, we tried this last year. We need to get a committee established and appoint a chair. That way, when it's time to look at nominees, they will be made with a bio to this committee. They'll review them and they'll bring forth that recommendation. That way, it's a true, fair, independent evaluation. So we're looking for names. If y'all have anybody or how we move forward.
Didn't we already submit names for this?
No.
Yes, I show
I
that we
submitted
have all
it.
5 districts. Now with the addition of the 2 new members for District 1 and 2, we will need their recommendation. Yeah. And
I know I submitted.
Okay, I'll get with
yeah,
Paul.
you
I think we have them
Robin
established.
Contu,
Yeah, Robin, come.
and then I did Eva De Leon, and Charles, you did Roy Sanders.
Board secondary, yes, sir.
So we just need districts 1 and 2 to be submitted with the new members.
And what was your, sir? I'm sorry.
Eva De Leon,
Okay, I'll see where those are, but
so we just need the two names and be able to submit on that. And I know in the past we talked about Michael being the chairman for that. So if we wanted to, we could actually have a motion for us to go ahead and designate him as the chairman for tonight.
I'll make that motion that we designate Alderman Michael Rodriguez as chairman of the annual Daniel J. McGrath Citizenship Award Committee.
A motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, have a second. All of those, discussion? Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
okay, and we'll put back on the agenda for the next one, for the next 2 nominees. I know it's a lot of names we need, guys, unfortunately.
And don't hesitate, for us, Miguel, Richard, if you have any names before that, just send them to Matt and we can put them inside the notes, like we normally provide the information. So we already have an idea and then we'll just announce them when we come to the meeting. That'd be great. All right. Okay, since we're still doing good, we might be able to take care of a few department head reports. So let's go ahead and move on to number 7 and have the animal control director's report. Santi?
You're right.
For the month of May, we had 64 calls for service. Set 2 traps out, euthanized 6 animals, 6 millions calls, 1 surrender, with 1 animal bite, dog return to owner. We transferred 10 out for the month of May. Took in 18. So we brought my count to 45 and 21 cats.
Oh. That's weird. Presentation. Here, let me zoom you through. Sorry. All right. Here's your transfer rescue.
May 5th, transferred 1 dog to Fort Little Falls. Foster based out of San Antonio, but the rescue is in Connecticut. 3 cats to Off the Pets Alive, and then 6 cats to Rescue Pets when we did.
You can go put that, they're figured out. Just say.
So far this year, we euthanized 7 animals, 15 adopted, and 83 transferred to rescue. There are a total of 10 volunteers, total hours, 25 hours total. Ready?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I'll do it, see, I want to read here. On Bella's Patch, we had 106 pet owners come for food, 10 new pet owners came by, 21 from Atascosa, 21 from Vine, 18 from Italia, 25 from Lytle, 1 from Moore, 2 from Somerset, 6 from Castroville, 2 from Hondo, 5 from Lacoste, 1 from Medina County. Well, Medina, I don't know, it's the county of the city, Poteet, 2
Sorry.
It's you from water.
Too much at one time.
And the gentleman made a comment to Betty Kroger that we're saving about $80 a month, and we're very grateful that we have this service out.
Okay, we got one more thing here.
And y'all wanted me to come up with a plan to control our numbers out there. I have been taking in a lot of dogs, a lot of animals. Right now, animal control and volunteer staff are busy contacting a lot of shelters and rescues to see if any room. And I will not be accepting any surrenders due that we're overwhelmed out there until I get down to the correct numbers that I need to be at. So I'll be getting calls, but I wouldn't be able.
But we'll be able to provide them other places, right?
Yeah, I'll mention other rescues that they can go to. We work with the city and our staff to hold monthly adoptions on one Saturday to hopefully give the animals a chance they deserve. With the overcrowding of rescues and shelters, we may not have a choice but to euthanize animals to reduce the numbers down. City staff is looking into options for our supposed to help with overflow we are receiving. On the bright side, we have 10 adopted animals out in the last few weeks and 3 fosters. 1 dog was returned today due that it wasn't getting along with the cat inside the home. So they returned it back to us. And we are posting daily pictures of animals to adopt on our Facebook page and getting a lot of responses. And any help from the council to forward these messages would be greatly appreciated. Just share the post from Lido or Facebook pages. Get them out there. We've had people coming to adopt an animal, adopt a dog or cat. I have one going tomorrow for a neuter, and they're going to be taken on Wednesday. So we're getting adoptions out. We're getting animals out, but it's just coming in. It's just like I got a call from Mrs. Priest today over here by where they cleared the land out. There's 3 dogs roaming out that way. So I don't know if they belong to somebody or they were just dumped. So it's never ending. And last week, a gentleman drove behind the old Bell's parking lot and dumped 2 Rottweilers out and took off. Lady called, but she wasn't able to get a license plate number. Waterburger didn't even have any good footage to see what kind of vehicle it was. But luckily, the dog's microchips will return it to the original owners.
So they did go back to.
They did go back to the original owners. They're trying to figure out who owned the animal before, so I can try to figure out who the person was that owned the animals. That's
Well, I want to say special thanks to Lynette, because
Yeah.
I know Lynette has been helping out with sending the posts
Yeah,
and all that. So council, we have them out there, so if you see them, please share. As we try to find homes for these animals, just so we can go ahead and take care of them. Because it comes in waves, and I guess right now, we're going through one right now to try to take care of.
And right now, I have cats, but it's mainly kittens, because it's kind of kitten season, so, a bunch of kittens.
Yeah, but we get some big help too.
Yeah, Tunias.
Tunias helps out a lot too, helping us out, be able to transport and get some to California too, and different other ways. And
We
just
need to
use the network.
transport more. And that's, because the problem is statewide. Texas is a special brand of something when it comes to what we're doing here and not doing here, so. Auntie's doing the best with what he's got, for sure. And works far and above what he's paid.
So,
Any questions?
any questions,
Yeah,
guys?
one of the things you were looking at was to reevaluate Lidl's policy on, abandoned pets and try to restrict it to the city residents.
Oh, like the surrendering,
Surrendering,
like
I'm
people
sorry. Yes,
coming
surrendering.
into the city, yeah.
Have you had a chance to look into that? Are you gonna enforce more?
Yeah, I'm enforcing it and people get mad and they drive off. But luckily, I always try to take, before they take off, I always try to get a look at the animal, take a picture of it, so if I see it back in the city, I know what vehicle, who
But
it
are we
was.
restricting it to city citizens of Lidl?
Yeah.
We always should have,
Yes.
We should
The
have. I
other
remember-
counties have animal control facilities. We can't be the animal control for the counties.
Right, but I remember it was stated at one meeting that
And that
we had
kind
been
of lax.
receiving from outside.
We should not anymore. We should only be receiving surrenders from within our incorporated city limits and verifying them.
The second question I have was for the dog fights, what's our procedure?
So
Does the police department get involved, or?
they the ones that get the call first, and then they call me out and go out there, take a report, quarantine the dog for 10 days. If the owner still wants the dog, on this case, the owner did not. So the dog was euthanized and then sent off for testing for rabies, and it came back negative. Notified the person on it, so we're all good.
And are those usually state guidelines that you
Yeah.
follow? Alright,
So I take them to San Antonio to go get tested, and then I get a call from them.
right, okay, thank you.
Anything else, council? Okay. Thank you, Santi, appreciate that. Okay, we got time for one more. The library, come on up, Cassandra.
I was gonna mention to Santi that this month, June, is National Adopted Cat Month.
Don't worry about the clicker. Just tell me when you're ready to go. Sorry.
All right, so we're getting a little more computer users, so last month we had 99, and then of course 81 for the kids. The checkouts went up as well, we had 1,402. We've had more people coming in for the Assembly E, there was 31 actual users and 66 loans, so it's getting popular. The library cards, we had 9 library cards and then 30 account renewals, and since April's still out, I made 16 library cards. We're still working on story time, craft nights, so go to the next one. We're about 50% on the adult nonfiction. We're slowly getting finished. We're hoping at the end of the year we'll have it all done. Still offering curbside if you have several patrons that they just don't want to come inside. And library events, we have a mini golf course that's going to be set up. It's an 18-hole golf course they're going to set up inside the library this Friday. We were waiting for confirmation and finally got it last week, and it's going to be from 10 to 4 on this Friday. So everyone's welcome to go. We're also going to have Safe Riders car seat training. The lady that's supposed to be, I think, that's this week or something over here, she's going to be at the library next week, and she's going to do training for car seats. She already did one last month.
Good.
And then, of course, our summer reading program will start on Wednesday the 21st. And we did the library displays. I think it was Nurses Week and Teachers Week, and then Cinco de Mayo, and then Kentucky Derby, and we can go to the next one. Mystery Month, it's like foster care, old stuff. Oh no, sorry. Old people or older, I mean, wasn't old. Sorry, I can't read that.
Older American.
Older American, thank you. Wow. And then, so we have several other different, anyway, that's,
You ready to just move on?
yes.
We want to ask who she was looking at. It's
It's like, it's still working on those nonfiction sections, but, you know, April's supposed to come back next week. We were now without her for almost 6 weeks now, so. That's it. Any questions?
Any questions, council? Okay. Actually, so we're not gonna have the Public Works, that one, because he's not here.
And did y'all get it via email already? In your email?
Public Works.
The Public Works report. If not, I'll forward it to you tonight. I got it today, I think.
Richie, you think you can knock yours down in 9
I'm
minutes?
not gonna be back after that. I got things I gotta eat, so y'all have a good rest of your evening.
Do we have something to eat back there on that?
No, we don't.
Depends on how,
But it's
We
all.
got one more,
it's
one
all
more,
good
Charles, we're
quality.
gonna go ahead and take care of, and then we'll go ahead and go.
if there's food back there, I'm gonna talk real quick.
There is food.
Well, then, hello, let's get on the road.
Okay.
I better be quick then, chief.
Let's get the show on the road. Report for May. Go basic stuff, service calls, vehicle collisions, nothing there really out of the ordinary.
Is Santi still?
No, it looks like he left.
Citation,
Did he leave? Oh,
Oh, there it is.
Stick around.
380 citations issued. Go through that, a lot of, mostly speeding on there, no insurance, driver's license stuff. What else? Yeah, a lot of stuff there. I looked at racial profile, and it's just there, it's kind of, just takes up a lot of space, but it's good to keep up with. The arrest, nothing out of the ordinary, same old stuff, warrants, drugs, warrants, drugs, and DWIs. That's always been about just about everything. We did have that aggravated robbery, which I discussed last council meeting. That was on May 1st over there at Cricket. The vehicle that was used was recovered. It was stolen. It was recovered, but it was recovered abandoned, I think, in Leon Valley. So we're not sure. We're still working on that. Nothing there. Burglaries, mini storage. I mean, that's kind of what we get a lot. It kind of, and as we get more of these and more people, and biggest challenge with mini storage burglaries is people don't know what's in there. A lot of them have been left, unattended for months, so sometimes you don't even know when it occurred. So they're challenging to say the least. Thefts, HEB, bicycles. Had a couple bicycle thefts, which was odd, this month. That used to be a big deal 20, 30 years ago, but now, I don't guess. Trash can thefts, most of those get reported when we have a storm and the trash cans blow off somewhere. But we take the report and then eventually they'll call us and say, hey, we found it, or, blew the neighbors out. Wow, we worked, it's only been last month we did that Saddle Ridge emergency exit walkthrough. Tornado test, had a couple guys at Ashburton Instructor School. We had an escort for the softball. We had another escort, baseball escort. David finished his 3-week class, his final week there. Pena and 3 of the guys went to DWI school, the DA sponsored in Pleasanton. And then Cortez went to Toxloger school. He's now our 3rd certified Toxloger operator. That's a person that can actually use the machine that administers breath tests. We don't actually have one here. We use one in Divine, or we use one in the sheriff's office. The Highway Patrol in Divine has one. So by doing that, they can use them anywhere. They have a code and a special key they give them. So anyway, food truck inspections, worked on them. Fuel shut off stuff at Stripes. We also had, it didn't make it in because we were back. We've been back over to HEB a lot, and proud to report that this morning they passed they got the equipment in they needed, and they passed their deal. And the guy from HEB told me a soft thing may be June 19th. What they're thinking, they don't know for sure, but they got to train people. But everything it's real nice. It's going to be cool. If it's anything like the one in Leander, he said they had people lined up like 30, 40 people deep all morning, every morning, and it's still busy. So we'll see. Maybe run everything up there. Just in case if we file nothing out of the ordinary there. What the heck was that in there? Did I get
A little overzealous clicking. Stop clicking.
Okay.
Just like your finger. Put it in. Thank you. Drop the gun. Remember when you're ready to go.
Yeah, we're okay. That's fine. I mean, resource, that's all, that's the actors helping us in the court and, serve officers. That's about it. Other than, what else we got going? Things going very well as far as crime based on number of cars and stuff we have and people in town. So, we've been really blessed. We hope we can continue that way.
You guys have been doing it. Really appreciate it.
It's been, a lot of what makes it work, I could elaborate on stuff, but if you have officers that are here that know the community and you know what's out of place, most crime is committed by just a very small percentage of the population. So when your officers know that very percentage of population, for example, Matt may be leaving to go somewhere on lunch and he sees a guy who we know is a car burglar. He calls someone else, hey, so-and-so's walking around over there. He may be heading towards HEB. So when you know that, you can deter a lot of this by simply knowing who the bad guys are, or who your trouble is. So, but you don't have that if you have a constant flow of officers. You don't have, you have. So anyway, we've been pretty fortunate. Still don't have an update on when we're going to get one of our 2 new vehicles in. I'll try to get something within a week or so on that. And we're gonna be advertising that vacant position sometime, when you gonna advertise, next week, or?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get the one for animal control and public works republished, and we're just gonna leave them open until filled.
So we'll work with him and coordinate when he expires, and that way we can,
Because we still have that one position, right? Okay.
hopefully we'll do better than last time.
Okay.
Anything
Council?
else? Oh, we have 2 new council members. The stuff on my report is just stuff I came up with through the years. If you think of something good, I'll be glad to add it, or if you think of something, this is just kind of what we threw out there. If y'all don't tell me, I'm not gonna think about it.
There you go.
It will, if you add something, it will lengthen our meetings.
Just a little. Just a little.
No pressure.
Any questions?
Anything at all? Okay, so before we go on break. And we have on the 19th of June, we got Sante's birthday coming up. So if everybody can actually help me out, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Santi. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, Luke, what's the invitation? Luke.
Oh, Luke gets it. Oh, this doesn't go to the chief anymore?
Let's give it to Luke, because I'm on a diet with my
This
wife.
goes to, okay, Luke, you get the honor.
Just started that.
Okay, so we're doing really good. This is good meeting. Let's go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and we'll come back, and we'll finish up. We just got a few other things to do. That'll be good. Thank you.
That's outlawed in my house. My wife, when I start shooting.
Well, this is a big deal. This should be the last, this should be the last game.
Hopefully they finish out today.
Possibly the last game.
Hopefully.
It'll be good. Now we got it. All right. All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and show ourselves back at 2012 or 8/12. Lynette, if you can go ahead and do that. And we're gonna go ahead and go right into item number 8, which is executive session, a call persistent to the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D, Section 551.071, consultation for the attorney, and 551.074, personnel matters to discuss and consider the following items. Update and report on pending city litigation. Jesse, we have something we need to pass, right? So let's go ahead and, if you can show us, going into executive session, and it's 8:13. And council, if we can please step to the back. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I gotta be real quick. I
This will be real-
think Jesse's got it. I'm gonna leave the audio on, so don't talk bad about you.
Oh, Charles was even gone. You said we were gonna get out of here early.
You like the food?
No, I like the food. Chips were good. That's what I ate.
Did you guys like the food? Did you eat anything?
Okay,
I
here's
want
the
a
deal.
sandwich. That's what
Here's the
happened.
deal.
No, did you eat anything healthy? Did you eat carrots? What about some snap peas? Would those be fresh?
No.
Tomato, sausage, chopped up tomatoes is pretty good.
Yeah, kind of true, but right. Sauce was chopped up for me.
You didn't eat broccoli?
Lady, I didn't go to Jason's Deli. I went to city council meeting.
I know, and look what I brought you. I brought you good food, or did you eat cheese and crackers?
I ate junk.
Snickers bar. Hey, at the TCMA conference, you know, they have those snacks. So you know, at one point, I kept seeing everybody with ice cream, like a Snickers bar ice cream. And I was like, they rolled out a whole cart full of ice cream. And I was like, dang, how do I turn that a Snickers bar ice cream?
Yeah,
So I had a Snickers bar.
Did you ever talk to anybody else we knew, or did you?
I didn't realize that.
What the hell's the mine?
Yeah. I don't know if their names are the same, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they're having mine.
Yeah. I was like, no, what? That makes so much more sense now. It's like,
That Sean guy, look, he was in Glaywater, which is over in East State. He was there for 5 years. He's been in bond for 5 or 7 years.
I looked at the South. I think he was at 157,000.
Sounds about right. I mean,
Once I looked him up, I saw him as a go counter.
but that's a big difference between nothing in Poteet and probably what 40 coming from
Probably
back
back
then. I still don't know why that chief left Sunnyvale to go to Boston. But he worked in Collin County, so he's retired. So it might be closer to his home. He might have been commuting. Who knows? A lot of guys commute a long way.
Some of that traffic up there, though, you don't have to commute a long way, it still take you 2 hours.
Oh,
to
no,
get
yeah,
there.
no. You know, it took me to get to Brenham yesterday. It took me, what, an hour and a half longer than it normally
Yeah,
takes?
it was ridiculous.
He talked about all the stores they're supposed to be moving in, you know, had a, on Saturday, a storm pushed through during the day, and then he said that the lady that's gonna be the worst, I mean, tornado chases were all here, but at our hotel in Alloys. Already got spring, could you tell it was raining?
Grace she got about 3 o'clock. They got in Sherman for a church camp. They're gonna be sent to Austin College. Yeah. Church camp, and they messed up on their room, so they put them in, it's like you get your own room with your own bed. and everything. It's like a dorm. Yeah, it's like 4 different rooms, and it's four rooms.
Okay, that's how they can
get.
get it. So before you had dorms, but you would split them, Luke and I were in the same room, right?
Yeah,
But now they build a pod, so you get
it's
the
a
same,
pod.
central's all the same, but you have your own.
Yeah, but the one I was at, Luke and I went to last summer, it was like a bunch of, it was like,
That was
like
like
the
the 70s style,
it was terrible. I told them I'd never go back. I'll pay for somebody to go in my place before I go.
What if it was near Airplane?
Oh, yeah, I might change my mind. I told Grace, I'd go pick Grace up there if we didn't have a thing going on with the baby. Because it's only about 30 minutes to Durant. 40 minutes to Durant.
Right. Beans. Well, then if you can actually show us back at 8:18, and please make note that no action was taken. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the last thing, and that's the informational items. Go ahead and go around the room before, see if there's any last minute stuff, anything you want to pass on to the council, any updates or anything like that. Okay. Lynette, any informational items that you want to share? Okay.
I just got a report at 8 o'clock from Public Works. They got all the water repairs done and water back on everybody.
Nice. So we got slushes back at Sonic now. Awesome. Gotta have those slushes going. Richie?
No, other than I was gonna mention, just on a personal note, Casey's got a few little complications with the pregnancy, so, I'm kind of been in and out a little bit, so, I'm around, I won't be going anywhere. But, we just need to try to keep that baby in there 2 or 3 more weeks if possible, but, we got a couple appointments this week with a specialist, and so, anyway. So if you don't see me or holler at me, you can call me on the phone.
Well, you let us know if you need anything, okay?
Yes.
We'll be able to help out. If we need to go buy some more zebra cakes for Luke, we'll go do that.
No, Grace is at church camp this week, and she does a lot to help with Benji, who's gonna be 2. So Casey can't pick him up, so I've been, he doesn't like me, putting him to bed and as much as he does everybody else, but anyway.
Doesn't like you.
Doesn't like you. Okay,
There you go.
we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, back over here. Anything at all? Sir, anything you need to share? No? Okay.
Just that, the golf thing for everybody, they can go and take their kids, it'll be from 10 to 4.
Awesome. Good. Auntie, anything else? Anything comes up?
No, just thanks for having me.
Guys, do that. Jesse? Share? Nothing? All right, okay. Little list of things. First of all, I just want to thank PD, Public Works, City Hall, and the city administrator for a successful auction. We did pretty good on the auction. I think, Lynette, what was the total that we raised out of the auction? There you go. So pretty good. A lot of work went into that, a lot of moving parts, getting it all set up. But that day it went very well, and we were able to get rid of some vehicles and at the same time be able to bring some money back into the city. So that worked out.
How long do y'all warranty those vehicles?
30 seconds before they were sold.
I'm pretty excited. And actually, David did a great job. He did a great job. Just being able to put everything together too, last minute. I want to thank Matt for the town council. If you remember in the last one we had in Concerned Citizens, we had a resident out of Twin Lakes that came over and addressed about the condition of the road out there. Matt went out there, talked to her, came up with a plan in the sense of the things that we're going to do as part of the construction that is happening with the frontage, maybe accessibility with materials, and she seemed to be satisfied. So thank you for taking care of that, Matt. Thanks to Lynette for helping out with the adoption and the fostering of some dogs, like we mentioned before, and just helping out. Santi, you got a good
Yes.
person over here helping out, so that worked out really good. I want to say special thanks to Santi and Animal Allies, for putting things together with the Jason Heigl Foundation. We have certain events, as even Ms. Mitch was helping out too. In July, we have 2 more where we're getting some money that is being donated to be able to take care of. This time it was 20 dogs, 20 cats. They were all taken care of, and there's a couple more events. But it's a good opportunity to be able to take care of some folks, and it seemed like everybody was very happy with what happened. So we're going to continue that. So special thanks to everybody doing that. Thanks to Lynette and Paula for holding down the fort with folks being out in City Hall. I know you guys took care of business last week, and really appreciate your help in being able to do that. TxDOT update. We wanted to let you know that here in the next few weeks, the only on-ramp going southbound, if you're heading towards Laredo, Natalia, Divine. So if you're passing, you pass 3175 for Bend City, and then you go up past the Mexican restaurant, and then you get on, that ramp is going to be diverted. There's a temporary one while they're working on the original one. It's going to take about 3 weeks for them to complete that, and then they'll put it back to the original one. During that time, hopefully they'll be done with the rest of the frontage roads, and we're hoping that within 4 weeks we'll get 2-way traffic also on the Bill Miller side. So there's still a little bit of work. The days are hot, but they're good days, so that means that they can complete some of the project and the stuff. So just to let you know with what's going on that. Do want to go ahead and announce that the Lytle Chamber has a new president with Pam Pentel. Brad Reeser, just wanted to take the time and thank him for his leadership. He really helped out with the chamber, putting the Shops of Lytle together, multiple community events, and especially being able to put together our first annual music festival, and it being a very successful one, along with taking the time and being able to schedule the next one. Also, he was part of the committee to be able to do that. So I just wanted to mention and give him some kudos for everything that he's done during the time that he was a president. He's done a great job, and we really appreciate everything that he's done to help us out and being a little bit more creative with different things that we're doing here in Lytle.
He was one of the main movers on that sign.
Yes, that's correct. And also with our sign. True point with that. Want to also congrats, if you haven't heard, one of our residents, Larry Sanders, got selected to be the Texas VFW commander. So that's a pretty big thing. Probably in the future, we'll probably do some sort of proclamation when the schedule is appropriate and bring him in here in front of the council. But he has been selected to actually represent the whole state of Texas. So that's a pretty big thing on there. Special congrats to the Lytle High School band. We had some members that got recognized at state level, solo and ensemble event. I know that happened between our last meeting and now, so the school's still going out there and still making a difference. A lot of recognition, a lot of proud kids doing some great things. We're looking forward to next year, and so that's good stuff right there. Also, congrats to our Little League All-Star boys and girls. They did really, really good in the tournament down in Natalia. The boys almost made the final. Actually, the boys and the girls actually started, they took the long way to be able to do that because they lost the first game, but they actually continued on and they did a really good job. So kudos to them, the family and the coaches. The girls were, they were impressive. I was surprised to learn that 5 of the girls had never played softball before. Never. And here you had a team that went all the way to the finals. It was the cutest thing. The cutest thing is watching a 6-year-old up at the bat. She's about this tall, and every time she went up there, she hit the ball. It was the greatest thing. They did a really good job, so that was pretty cool. But kudos to them and our Little League board and everything they did. Want to remind everybody, we have the outreach fair this Thursday. We have the normal attendees there, plus we have the immunization bus coming. So if you know any folks that have kids that are going to school, before they register, they make sure that they have their shots in certain age groups. But we're going to have that service here for free so they can get it done, and then they'll have to be running around in August to try to take care of their kids. So they'll be there. Along with, we're going to have a farmer's market that are bringing vouchers for seniors. So I had asked Paola to reach out to the seniors, also seniors group and everybody that you know, because there might be opportunity to get some free stuff. I think they're giving like $50 vouchers, so, to be able to get some of that. Reminder on the free lunches at school too, at the elementary school and high school. So there's food there for breakfast and lunch, so people can be able to do that. Also, give them a little break from the heat too. There's a place that they can go hang out and be able to do that. Prayers to Father Antoni for a speedy recovery out of the Catholic Church. So went through some medical stuff, and he's on recovery. We probably will see him. It'll probably be a few weeks. He's going to need to be able to take it easy, but keep him in your prayers. The church is doing a great job of being able to line things up and work with what we have. But at the same time, he's been a huge supporter of our community, done a lot of things, and right now we need to be there to help him out. Also, prayers for Reyna's family and friends. Tomorrow we have visitation services at 5 p.m. here at the funeral home, and then Mass on Wednesday at 10 a.m. to be able to do that. Also ask a little bit of extra prayer for Haley Hughes. I know she's taking on a new adventure and being able to take care of the big guy in the sky. So we ask for prayers for her and also for the parents. I know it's difficult stuff to go through, to be able to do that. I do ask the whole council, please check on our neighbors and elderly as we go into some of the hotter months. If you hear of anybody having some struggles, please call Matt, myself, the chief, anybody. Give us a call, the fire chief. Let us know that we have some families that are in need. We will adjust immediately. We can work either with the churches, we can find facilities where they can hang out during the hot hours to be able to make it. We've done this in the past. There's not a lot of attendance, but if somebody is in need, we will adjust quickly and be able to take care of them to be able to do that. So let us know if we need to help out with that. Okay? Any last minutes? Anything that pops up?
Just a heads up, the Lido cross-country team has started its summer practices. They're starting this week at 7:15 every morning. They run for a couple hours, so you may see them anywhere around town. They may be near the school, or they sometimes just do a big circuit around town. And every week, they're going to be backing up 15 minutes. So it's going to be getting closer to sun up in a month or so. And they'll have practice. We asked Emma's on the team. She said, we'll be running until cross-country season's over in October. So that's why they win, because they run like crazy. But just heads up, if you're over near the school, near the football field, or anywhere in town, watch out for the kids running.
Good point. Anybody else? Okay. So can I get a motion for us to adjourn? It's 8:29.
Now I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Okay, got a motion for us to adjourn. A second? A second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I don't think so. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, council. Have a great evening. Thank you.